Last 4 years in the legislature. I was elected 4 years ago from Metairie, and obviously he's been serving as our Speaker of the House for those years, and been a pleasure serving with him during that period of time.
What's he done that's been so terrific for the state of Louisiana?
I think, more or less his leadership is something that is very, very important, especially in my position. He's brought a lot of leadership to the House, for good or for bad, depending on which side you're on. The one thing you can say about Jim is he knows that he has convictions on what he wants to bring forward, what's right for the state of Louisiana, and doesn't mind fighting for it.
Now, the Secretary of State position is obviously a very important one. People don't know very much about it. Not asking you to get too politically academic, but could you tell me a few things about the office and why you think he'd be so good in that role?
Well, Secretary of State has several different parameters. I mean, first, it deals with all your corporations. It deals with all the election issues. It deals with several museum issues. So it has a ton of different parameters that you're wearing a bunch of different hats. One is an administrative position, which is something that the Speaker does. It's an administrative position on appointing people to the right committees in order to get things forward. That's the same thing that a Secretary of State does. You need to have the right people in the right position to make it run smoothly, whether it's somebody that's creating a new corporation in the state or a limited liability company that goes through the Secretary of State. Whether it's dealing with the election issues to make sure that they're run properly, run smoothly, or dealing with the museums that you have throughout the state that fall under that position to make sure that they're operating for our tourists that come in town and for obviously our locals that go to those museums.
Well, we have such an incredible cultural heritage. The museums and their possibly being limited is certainly something that concerns me in addition to the elections. Now, we've had a kind of an interesting history of elections in Louisiana. Has he spoken to you about some of his plans on getting the vote, secured and more polling places available, or anything particular, voting machines? I don't know.
Well, I mean, voting places obviously are separated into precincts, so that's kind of set on the parish level, and the Secretary of State's job to make sure the voting machines are in place for those on those dates and setting those election dates and making them happen. Jim's obviously had the ability over the last 4 years as Speaker to travel the rest of the state and meet a ton of people, through that to build those relationships in order to have trust. So that way, you pick up the phone, it's going to be, it's going to be taken care of.
Well, that's a very good endorsement. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.